Hi, this is Darcy Lewis, the Kinergist from thekinergist.com. Welcome to this webinar on developing academic skills with Brain Gym. Movement is the door to learning, says Paul Dennison, the founder and creator of Brain Gym and educational kinesiology. If the bum is numb, the brain is the same. Just another way of saying movement is important for learning. What is educational kinesiology or educate? Or what is Brain Gym? Kinesiology is the study of movement. Educational kinesiology, or educate, is the study and application of natural movement experiences to facilitate learning. It focuses on the performance of specific physical activities that activate the brain for optimal storage and retrieval of information. Educate is a process for re-educating the mind-body system for accomplishing any skill or function with greater ease and efficiency. If it's not in your body, you don't know it. This is just to remind us that we store our memories not only in our brain, and just another reason to show that movement is important for learning. Some benefits for students: focus and attentiveness, cooperative learning skills, motor coordination, enhanced use of vocabulary, drawing and writing, reading and math, posture and balance. Here, the following is a study of the moving classroom, results of a school district research study by Dorothea Beigel, NDT, from Germany. Who was in the study? 18 8-year-old second graders. No prior daily movement activities were used in the classroom. All had difficulties reading, and they were assigned to 3 random groups. And they each had the same amount of attention. 15 minutes of movement before school was what was prescribed. One group was the blue group. They had a big room to play. They had construction toys, learning games, or movement play. The green group had the gym. They used balls, ropes, things like that. The red group was the Brain Gym group. They did PACE, which is the foundation of Brain Gym, earth buttons, space buttons, DLR repatterning, which were all names of Brain Gym movements. University students came in and tested all 3 groups once a week for 6 weeks. Here's a result. For reading comprehension, the blue group was down here at the bottom. But the Brain Gym group, the red group, was up here. Let's take a look at reading time. Again, the red group was the fastest, with the blue group, the play group, following close behind, and the psychomotoric group at the bottom. Number of errors. At the end of 6 weeks, the Brain Gym group had 0 errors. And the green group, the psychomotoric group, had less than 5, but then the blue group had 10 errors at the end of 6 weeks. So to summarize, a double-blind statistical analysis of the data indicated that the children who had done the Brain Gym activities read faster, made fewer mistakes, and had better comprehension of the text material than did the other 2 comparison groups. So the question is, what Brain Gym movements will best help developing academic skills? Positive hookups. active cross crawl, clear brain buttons, energetic water. You see where this, if you go down, says pace that we had alluded to earlier. Pace is energetic, clear, active, and positive. Let's look at what those look like. Energetic, down at the bottom, it refers to water. Some research says that our brain is made up to 70 to 80% water, others 60 to 70. Whatever it is, it's very important to drink water so that we can make the electrical synapses around in our brain, in the neurons. Brain buttons is simply when you put one hand on your navel and then rub here below the collarbone, in a little hollow below the collarbone. That clears the pathways so that the right and the left hemispheres can work in conjunction. As well as cross crawl, which is a cross-patterning activity where you are forcing both halves of your body to work together, and therefore your brain is working in a holistic way as well. Now here's a hookup. Hookups are two parts. This is the first part where you're crossing your ankles and you're crossing your arms and interlacing your fingers with your tongue on the roof of your mouth just behind your front teeth. The second part of this movement has your legs flat on the floor and your fingertips lightly touching. This is good to do when you are stressed. It makes you feel more relaxed. For motivation, something called hookups positive points. And here, when tension goes up, retention goes down. Or when stress goes up, integration goes out. And here we have a teacher that's towering over the students, and the students are scared and not able to access their forebrain to think clearly. Here we have Megan, who is doing a hookup with her ankles crossed. It's a little difficult to see that part. And here we have her feet are flat on the floor, and she's doing the second part of the hookup. Here they're doing positive points hookups where they're crossing. She's got her older sister here, and her sister's fingers are slipping off of her forehead a bit. They should be more up here. But they're doing positive points hookups together where they're holding their frontal eminences just above the eyebrows while they're doing a hookup. Now, you can also have someone else hold your frontal eminences while you're doing a hookup for a very relaxing effect. And here we have it again. First part, second part, and here's holding the frontal eminences. Listening. There are 4 activities that are very good for listening: thinking caps, elephant, energy yawn, and calf pump. Here we have the girls doing the thinking cap. They are unraveling their ears, they're unbending their ears here and massaging them nice, starting from the top and going down to the bottom and back up to the top again. Lifts up our antenna so we hear, and what we hear goes into our brains. And here we have the elephant, where he is having his shoulder and his ear connect, and his arm is going in a lazy 8 movement, an infinity sign, or an 8 lying on its back, like this in front of his body. She is placing her fingers on her joint, the temporomandibular joint, where the jaw attaches to the mandible attaches to the face muscles, and here we have her massaging here and making a nice yawn and kind of making a sound with it too, doing an exaggerated yawn. Here we have the girls doing calf pump. They're doing it in partners, which is kind of fun to do in the classroom. Let's look at Megan here. Her front knee is bent and the back is straight, and you place the heel on the floor for a count of 7 and then lift it up for the count of 7. And then heel on the floor for a count of 7 and then lift up for the count of 7. And you get a nice lengthening back here in the back of the knee. What do you do for visual skills? Well, here we have 5 activities that are good for visual skills: lazy 8s, brain buttons, earth buttons, space buttons, and balance buttons. Let's take a look at what those look like. Here we have Megan doing lazy 8s. She's tracking her thumb as her thumb makes an infinity sign or a lazy 8 in front of her face, like this, coming up in the middle, always coming up in the middle of her nose. Nice tracking. And here we have them doing the brain buttons, one hand on the navel, the other hand on the little hollow just underneath the clavicles, rubbing there. Here are earth buttons, one hand on the navel, the other holding below the bottom lip. Go ahead and try that. Here we have space buttons. One hand is just placed on the tailbone and the other is on the upper lip for space buttons. I hope you're trying this at home. I'll give you a minute to do that. Some of the other energy exercises that were mentioned is balance buttons. Here you have again the hand just placed over the navel and the other hand on the mastoid bone back here just behind the ear. And then switching hands and placing the other hand on the navel and then the other hand on the other ear. Okay, the other ones we've already mentioned. You probably want to know, where can you learn more? Well, do keep checking back at Kinergist.com for future posts, and email me with any questions or comments that you have, or place comments below this webinar. If you would like to take classes, classes are taught all around the world. Just go to www.braingym.org. This has been Darcy Lewis, the Kinergist, at thekinergist.com. Thank you.